Good morning, children. Today I am going to start the new lesson, that is Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye. So, we are going to study about Japan and Brazil through two of the countries, and here how a traveler goes through his experience when he visited Japan and Brazil. The traveling experience of the author George Mikes, who has given his experience in this lesson. So children, today I am going to start the first part of this lesson, and let us get introduced to the author George Mikes. George Mikes, regarding George Mikes, we shall come to know about him is, he was an author, an artist, he was also a publisher, illustrator and a journalist from Hungary. And he studied law and received a doctorate from the Budapest University. He has written many books which included The Hungarian Revolution, Uber Ellis, Shakespeare and Myself, Italy for Beginners, How to Be an Artist, How to Be Inimitable, How to Scrap Skies, How to Tango, How to Be an Alien. And regarding this Japan and Brazil, the part what we have got as a travelogue is taken from two of his books, that is experts are chosen from. One is The Land of a Rising Sun and the other is How to Tango. From these two travelogues he has taken and given this particular topic which we have got here, the travelogue Japan and Brazil through traveler's eyes. Now children, let us go through the pre-reading activity which has been given here. Do you like traveling? Does it enhance one's mental horizon? So, the meaning of enhance is improve or increase. So children, let us understand the first question which has been given here. Do you like traveling? Definitely everyone loves traveling. So usually we see at the time of when the season changes from when we are in summer, we love to go to hill stations, we love to travel, or when the vacations come in Dasra holidays also, we love to travel from one place to the other, where we love to go to a new place or to the places where we have visited already, or when we go to our relatives' places. So here, when we go there, if you are going to visit a new place, you just have, not only you visit the place and where you are happy about it, you also gain a lot of knowledge, where it increases your knowledge or your mental horizon, it is told. So it not only gives us a lot of knowledge about that particular place, and it tells us the history of that particular place, or it gives a knowledge about that particular place. Yes, that is true. So we love traveling. That is one thing. At the time of summer, at the time of holidays when we get, at the time of, even at the weekends when we have got a Saturday, and when we don't have, when we get a holiday also, for one day also, we would like to have a change of place where we love to have go there. So now that is one thing. And the second one question is, which of a behavior or gesture do you think appears strange to a foreign visitor? So, gestures and behaviors of each and every country have got a lot of difference. So, what gesture is done in India is not the same followed in England or in America. So, there is a lot of difference in the gestures and behaviors of one place to the other place. For example, the gesture of doing namaste, when we want to give respect to a person, where we just fold our hands and say namaste and give respect for the person who is in front of us. So that may be, this gesture may be peculiar, or you may feel what is this? But this gesture is one of the things which says that we respect the person who is in front of us. So that is a way of showing our respect to the person, and that is what we say. And in England and all, where we see the gesture of giving a handshake, you shake your hands with the person whom you want to wish. In other countries, it is just hugging each other and giving a gesture of wishing each other a good morning. So we have got many of the gestures. In Spain, already we come to know that a gesture of saying good morning, where a man lifts his hat from the head and says good morning. So there are some gestures like this which may look peculiar to the foreigners when to the other foreign countries. Then the third question is, do you think living in a foreign city, visiting a foreign country makes us aware of our own culture? Definitely. So when we are living in a foreign country, we long for to have the people whom we know. And that when a person from India goes to America, he'll just misses his culture. He remembers more of his country, and he feels that he is missing his own culture, which is not here. So the modern way of living in a foreign country, where our way of living and having our own binding of spirituality, or our own way of having the bond of a family, where we love to be in a family binding, which is not there in a foreign country. We love and we miss our country when we visit a foreign country. And here, that makes us that we are I'm missing my country, I miss my culture, I miss many of those things when I go to a foreign country. And even looking at someone who is an Indian whom you don't know also, you feel very happy to see an Indian where you think the culture is same. And that's how we come to know that, do you think living in a foreign city, visiting a foreign country makes us aware of our own culture? Definitely that is true. So wherever we may be, we miss our culture and our country. That is true. So children, now we have gone through the pre-reading activity where I gave you some examples of the things. Now let us understand about a note on traveling writing. So first let us understand what is traveling writing. What is a travel writing? So children, when we go through travel writing, it doesn't exist now. This travel writing has been present, and first of all, let us understand what is travel writing. A person, when he travels from one place to the other place, from one country to the other country, we have got the experience of those people when they travel from one place to the other place, where they have visited some other place. The very writing in a diary which has been written about how they started from this country and went on going from one place to the other place, and lastly when they reach the destination of a country where they have gone. So they go on writing about their travel, how they traveled, where they traveled, what were the difficulties they faced, or what was the happiest moment they saw, and lastly when they reach the destination of a country where at that particular time who was ruling that king, who was ruling that country or the kingdom, and who were the famous kings whose countries he has visited, and what was the culture there, and what were the people, how was the king popular there. Everything he goes on writing in a travel diary. And when this material of travel diary, what he has written, becomes a travel diary, and further we see many of them who used to refer this travel diary to know about that particular period, how it was. Now, this particular travel writing is a particular type of literature which has been written. We find this literature at the time of 2nd century itself, when travelers to Greece recorded their experience in the form of a diary. It was first started we saw them in the 2nd century itself, when the Greece travelers there started writing about their experiences, and we see them how. And with the passing of the time, and new techniques were found, in scientific inventions were found, that also in 8th and 9th centuries. So we saw many new navigational instruments were found. For example, the navigational instrument such as the mariner's compass. So sea was a vast sea. In sea, we just can't make out which is north, which is south, and which is east and west. So when the man wanted to find out a new sea route, or when the man wanted to find new land, what he did is in the 8th and 9th century many scientific inventions were found, and one such instrument was mariner's compass. In this mariner's compass, if you are traveling in a big ocean or a sea, what used to happen is this mariner's compass used to show you the direction of north. Wherever in the middle of the water, when you are traveling in the sea, you could find out which is north direction. And definitely when north was shown, they used to make out which is south, which is east, and which is west. This helped the man to go through the direction what he wanted to. The one who wanted to take his ship through the direction of north or south or east could be done successfully if a mariner's compass was there. So these are some of the instruments or the inventions in science which was done in 8th and 9th century, which not only made, so soon such trips started getting royal patronage. So people wanted to find the navigators who were bold enough to go into adventures of such travel in sea. They could take all these helps of many of the instruments, and they started going to find the new sea routes or the new land. And what happened, it became such a thing that the royal patronage or the king and queen of a particular countries, they started giving monetary support, or they gave this patronage to this particular travelers who wanted to find the support. And they used to give patronage is giving the full support of not only money and material to such a things, where it used to take 1 or 2 years to find them the new sea route or the new land, and the kings used to support them with all the monetary help. And new adventures and voyages were even commissioned also. Thus travel writing became just ceased to be just a description of new places born out of curiosity and gained political overtones. So we saw how Columbus, when he came to India, he came to find a new sea route. Not only that, when he came here, he saw the raw materials what he got here, and how he could take from here, the India, the raw materials, where he could the materials what he took from here, especially the spices, what he took from here in European countries, he could sell them for more profit, for 3 to 4 times or 5 times the profit he could get out of it. So when he started, when he's got it, that the other foreigners who wanted to find out the new sea route to India, and we saw how to India the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British and the French came here. Not only coming here, they started capturing the places, like they made their own colonies, they dominated over there. So how we saw is the foreign people coming here, and they started trading here. Not only started trading, it took into political overturns, where they came here, they wanted to make the native land into their own colonies, and that's how we saw it became a political turmoil. And what we see is now, even after much of the earth has been discovered, and it has been again been explored, and almost every piece on this earth has been written about, its popularity has not gone at all, as can be seen by the immense viewership it has in the on modern media like TV and internet. See, even today also people love to go through to the viewership when we see in TV and internet. When we want to know about a particular country, or when we want to know about a particular place, we just go through the internet, and where we love to see how, before my visit, or I want to know about that particular country, means I just want to know about Switzerland, I go through internet, I just make a press of a question, I put that I want to know I would like to go view some things about that particular country, Switzerland. I get it within no time. I would like to have a view. Though it has been discovered, though we know that it is, just I can have my personal experience through this media, and I can just go through it like media like TV or internet. So now, earlier it was only through traveling we used to, but nowadays it has become travel writing has become a serious study after nearly from the last 50 years. It has become a part of cultural studies also program in many universities. So we see the exchange of cultural studies from one university to other universities in many of the countries. So we see from India, cultural studies program is exchanged from America and England. So the England children who want to know the who have the exchange of cultural studies, those children come here and our children go to those countries to understand their culture. So it is in many universities they have been giving this cultural study programs are there. Travel writing is no longer viewed as a product of some innocent curiosity or an attempt to understand a foreign culture. It's objectively rather these written accounts are which tell us comments on how a culture gets represented by another, and in the process we get connected with many we get connected and uphold some cultural values as somehow superior and universal than the other. So we come to know about many of the other cultures which have been here, and just about we come to know about not only about the cultural values, and as somehow they are considered, one country has got its own culture, the other country has got its own culture, and universally they have got many of the things like this. So we just have this travel writing which has been accepted in from past 50 years as one of the studies, and we see that many of the university have taken the cultural study programs also, where exchange of the students is done, and where those students from America or England or other countries come to India to know about Indian culture. The students from India, they go to England, they go to America, and they go to France for their cultural studies. So these are the exchange of cultural study programs which are going on now, children. So travel writing is a writing where we come to know about the cultural understanding about other countries' cultures. So the very first thing what we are going to study today is the author, where he tells about his experience about Japan. In Japan, how his experience was there, and he tells about the Japanese people, especially the mannerisms in Japan. So when he visits Japan, he tells his experience how it was when he visited Japan and the people of Japan and their manners. So let us go through the first topic which has been given by George Mikes, where he tells his experience of Japan and the manners of Japanese people. So he starts now. A quarter of an hour in Japan will convince you that you are among the extremely beautiful and delicate, well-mannered people. So they are beautifully he says they are extremely beautiful and they are delicate mannered people. So the manners in Japan is a very decorative way of wishing the people, and not only that, he said the extremely beautiful way of people who have a very delicate mannerisms. And they are well mannered people, he says. So these people are very well mannered, and they are in such a way we just feel that we are not up to that manners. And people who live and the people who live on a hopelessly overcrowded island have to respect one another's privacy, or rather would have to if they have any privacy. But they don't. So we come to know that Japan is a very small country. The land boundary of Japan is equal to Karnataka. And Karnataka is also big when you compare to Japan. So Japan is a small island, and where we see the population is so much that it is overcrowded. But then also what we see is you feel that they don't have privacy at all, but they overcrowded and has to respect one another's privacy, or rather would have to if they have any privacy at all, but they don't mind about any of those things. So here a courtesy is showing politeness. Courtesy is a way of showing politeness or a respect to a in a form of a respect, it has a double functions. So not only being polite and having good manners, here a courtesy which has got two functions here. One is double functions. It is courtesy and it's a subtle privacy also. So here we have gone. So courtesy has a double function here. It is courtesy and it's substitute to privacy also. So for example, the little red telephone in the streets of Japan, where usually they are in shops, halls, or of hotels, you see a particular red telephone which is there, kept in shops and halls of hotels. This telephone is an instrument which is situated, usually it is kept on a table or on a counter where we see them. Have no space for, in Japan they don't have telephone booths, but they have got the red telephone which is identified as a public telephone, and usually we find them in shops and halls of hotels. And what we find is, we find them, the instrument is situated on a table or on a counter. They have no space for telephone booth because they don't want to waste the space. You conduct your most confidential business transactions, your intimate love quarrels. The most confidential business transactions can be talked in a public telephone. We can't even think here. So eardropping is not done. If you just go to a red telephone, take it and you talk the most confidential business transaction, and not only that, your intimate love quarrels with your lover. If you are just having an intimate love quarrels, that also in public, yet in perfect privacy. People do respect each other's privacy, and people don't stop and overhear, or they don't eardrop to hear what you are talking about your business, neither about your love affairs. They are not interested because they respect each other's privacy. And you don't have to fear that whether I'll be having privacy or not, because privacy is respected in Japan in such way. Anyway, any passerby could listen in, but nobody does. So they don't stand and hear what you're talking, because everyone respects here everyone's privacy. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. So you just take a red telephone and you start talking there, whether it's a confidential talk or whether it's a love talk. It's just like you are in a castle. Castle is a palace where you know what you are doing in your fort, where it is very private, where you know only you and yourself are talking, and you just have this confidence that nobody is having eardropping or hearing what I tell, because it's just like a castle. It's just like a big palace where you have got your own privacy. So nobody stands here in Japan to hear what you are talking with any other person, whether it's a business or a love talk. So here I would like to end, children, today's first part of the lesson. Thank you, children.